This conference will now be recorded.
Chickens are existing.
I think this, I don't
Oh,
know.
so they're gonna remove. I get it. Okay.
They're gonna rebuild two. They haven't built two.
Okay. Yeah, because I drove by and I was like,
These are the existing ones. These are the proposed ones.
got it.
So
Okay.
there's existing. Side D and side B are existing.
Yep.
Are D.
That makes sense. Have there been any
I don't think
accidents
these are
or
there
anything?
anymore. I think these are gone.
I think you're right. Yeah.
No, never. Haven't
No
been one.
accidents. I was convinced there would be a ton right there.
Yeah, I think so. People are
This car's coming this way. I was like, they're gonna get somebody this way will be in the wrong lane.
just, yeah.
We'll see.
I think these are gone now.
Huh?
I think these are what used to be there.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Might
We'll
have.
find out. One more minute. There it is. All right. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Good to
Good to
Yeah,
go?
let's do it. Video's going.
Video's recording. All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call the zoning board meeting of April 21st, 2026 to order. Our first case, and I apologize if I screw this last name up, is Melissa Sucido? Shudo, sorry.
Shudo. Shudo.
All right, so my name's Melissa Shudo. I live 33 Church Street, and I'm requesting a special exception for chickens on my property. I'm looking to use them for pets, as well as egg production, and to utilize as schooling aid for my homeschooled children. So I did give you guys an updated plan of our property. We moved the coop further back to make it more distant from each neighboring properties. So you're looking at about 50 feet to one property on one side and 30 feet on the other. From the road, we're about 100 feet, and then my setback from the backyard is about 150 feet from the property there. And then I did bring some photos for you guys of the coop setup itself. I can give them to you if it's hard to see. So basically from my deck, you can see that they are super far back. I could certainly give you guys these if you want me to pass
That
them
might be
around.
helpful, sorry. Thank you.
So it's a fully enclosed run. I have it pretty far back. That first photo is from my porch. So basically, it's a fully enclosed run. I have the coop inside of it. Those chickens never come out to free range or anything. They stay in the coop. I have a front board and a back board to kind of deter any noise from them or anything like that, as well as tarps that can be removed during the sunlight, but also to cover them as well during inclement weather. I do keep down, it's like a pelletized material on the bottom. It helps to reduce the odors for the chickens, as well as maintain a nice clean atmosphere for them, as well as deter smells for residents and other neighbors. My inside, I have cedar pine shavings. It's a mix also to deter on odor, things like that. And any residue I have from the chickens, any sewage, things like that, I do have a compost thing that goes into, which is then transferred into my garden when it's ready. I'm looking to just keep hens only. So I'm not looking for any noise nuisances, things like that. And I did speak with my two immediate neighbors who said they don't have any issues with the chickens at all.
Any questions for us?
Nope.
Yeah,
Questions?
you giving out free eggs here or what, huh?
I mean, I can once they start laying.
Any questions for us, Andy?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
good?
Yeah.
Any public comment? Guys, good if we close public comment?
Yep.
All right, we'll close public comment and deliberate. This is a special exception, so it's a little more straightforward. You guys want me to just go through the criteria here and we'll
Sure.
Sure.
chat as we go?
Yeah.
Okay, this specific site is an appropriate location for such a use?
Yeah. I think it's,
Yeah, seems like it. Just
Mhm.
got, you said that they were they weren't free range. They were contained.
No, they stay in their contained area all the time.
No factual evidence is found that property values in the district will be reduced due to incompatible land use. Nope. No demonstrated evidence of that. There's no valid objection from the abutters. We don't have any objection from the abutters. No nuisance or hazard is involved.
No.
I think that as long as we have a criteria in there about hens and not roosters, that's kind of
Yeah, we
self-contained.
make that a condition of approval.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adequate and appropriate facilities are provided for the proper operation of the proposed use.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like she's got a plan for her,
Compost.
the chicken the compost for the,
Right.
can't think of the word, leftovers from the chicken. An adequate area for safe and sanitary sewage disposal. She's not really using human sewage. And that's the end of the criteria. And she's within the setbacks. Any proposed motions?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve ZB 26-06 to allow permission to raise and keep 6 to 12, well, I guess just 12, cap it at 12. Chickens as pet and, or for pet and egg consumption.
Any
And
second?
no, with no roosters.
And chickens are free range.
What's up?
The chickens aren't going to be free range chickens.
Including the pen. The count.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna write this down. A motion to approve.
Motion to
GB
approve contingent upon
606.
Mhm.
Contingent on no more than 12 chickens.
and none free range.
Contained to a run.
Right?
With no roosters.
Correct.
That what you were?
Yep.
Your motion was? Okay. Steve has made a motion to approve zoning board case 26-06, contingent on no more than 12 chickens, contained to a chicken run, and no roosters.
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Sandy. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All right. Those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? The ayes have it. It passes. Thank you. for
Thank
coming.
you.
All right, now we have a special permit from Wallace Building Products, 26-07.
Do you want to add them to?
Evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Chris Rice with TF Moran. I'm here on behalf of the owner and applicant Wallace Building Products. We were here before the ZBA a year and a half ago for a couple variances associated with this property, and we've since gone through the planning board process. But as you know, there's a section in the regulations that states if you're going to remove any earth material in this zone, you have to come before the board requesting a special permit. So that's what we're here for tonight.
Awesome.
Happy to answer any questions.
Are you just removing the soil for the site work?
Yes, it'll just, yeah, there will be some material. I mean, the regulation, whether it's a handful of material or thousands of cubic yards, you still need to ask for this permit to cover it. So I can't give you a value on how much material is being removed but it's to allow the removal of material from the property.
For sure. Any questions?
And
Is this the asbestos track or a separate?
No, so right now, the plan we have, well, originally, once we got planning board approval, we got the DPS just to ask some questions about what our options are on the asbestos areas, which is here and here. Originally, the plan was maybe to fill this area, just add to the cap. And we thought that was all we could do, but they said that actually you could move it if you got an acceptable work plan to do something safe. So they did have a professional prepare a work plan and an estimate to do that, in which case they would move this material all onto track 2. So there's benefits to that because then it's all under one cap. And one maintenance area, but there is a high cost to move it to be safe. And so the owner hasn't made that decision yet, but they do have DES approval to do it. If that
This
answers.
isn't what this permit's for. This is,
Yeah, this permit has nothing to do with taking asbestos off the site and moving it anywhere. It's just for regular earthwork site material.
any other questions?
Is this material going to be reused on this site or removed altogether?
I think they're still discussing things with the contractor. I'm sure some material might be reused for selects on site.
Okay,
But I'm guessing some topsoil they might not need on site that they could bring off
Right.
site.
okay.
Anything else for him?
Nope.
Nope.
Any public comment? There's not really any criteria for us. This is the same problem we landed last time. It's just
Yes or no?
whether this makes sense or not. Any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve ZBA 26-07. Special permit for earth removal.
Brian made a motion to approve ZB 26-07. Any seconds?
Second.
Seconded by Doug. Any further discussion?
Nope.
No? All right. Those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The ayes carry it. It is approved.
Thank you.
for
Have a good
coming.
night.
Why don't we have to, that's a strange one.
What's that?
Strange one.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Do we have applications for this,
What's that?
the permits?
Do we have the permits?
I don't know. Do we have applications for permits?
We don't. We just have the special exception and it gets a special permit and there's not like no criteria that it goes against.
Oh, okay. Okay.
ZB 26-08, the Lake Estate.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Thank you for having us. My name is Clay Hales with Sam and Delia Architects here on behalf of the Lake Estate on Winnisquam. We're here tonight because we're seeking a variance from Article 2, Section 3 of the zoning ordinance to permit the installation of 2 total roadside signs on the Lake Estate on Winnisquam property, including the relocation and refurbishment of 1 existing sign, with both signs located within the 30-foot front setback limit and the total signage area exceeding the permitted maximum of 40 square feet for a proposed total signage area of 65 square feet. The first sign, which would be located on Laconia Road south of the property entry, would be oriented to be visible to drivers headed north away from Tilton, allowing them sufficient time to access the dedicated right turn lane to enter the property. This sign would consist of a forest green painted board and artful arch top shape with traditional perimeter detailing, supported by forest green painted posts with detailed trim, all sitting on a stone masonry base. Lettering on the sign would be incised into the signage board and gilded and would only be located on the side facing the direction of travel. Discreetly located and shielded LED lighting with approximate output of 280 lumens would cast downward from the hood at the top of the signboard to illuminate it at night, ensuring dark sky compliance with no external lanterns or floodlights. The second sign would be located on Laconia Road north of the property entry and would be oriented to be visible to drivers headed south toward Tilton, allowing sufficient time, again, to access the dedicated left turn lane to enter the property. The sign would consist of relocating the existing cream-colored sign that's currently at the property entry and repainting it forest green to match the other proposed sign, as well as all the trim color on the Lake Estate building. It features a simple arch top shape supported by forest green painted posts with detailed trim extending to grade. Lettering on the sign would be incised into the signage board and gilded and would only be located on the side facing the direction of travel. The sign would not have any illumination at night. Both of these signs are proposed to be located within the required 30-foot front setback in order to provide them with reasonable visible proximity to the road without resorting to very tall, negatively impactful designs. They'll be fully located within the property boundaries and will meet or exceed the state required offset of 33 feet from the center line of Laconia Road, with at least 5 feet offset from the gravel shoulder, basically a 5-foot setback from the property line. The signage area of both proposed signs together exceeds the permitted maximum of 40 square feet, with a proposed total of 65 square feet. Each sign individually has signage area below 40 square feet. The prior business on the property, the Anchorage, had 4 total signs spread along the Laconia Road frontage, which you can see in that board that I have there. The proposed location of the 2 new signs that we're asking for is similar to the locations of 2 of those previous signs. Here, sign A, and this one here, sign D, at the outer ends of the property. The design, craftsmanship, and materials of the proposed signs extend the character and attention to detail that epitomizes the Lake Estate property out to the public way, celebrating the spirit of the Lakes region. I'm happy to read through all of the variance criteria if you like, or if you.
Yes, unfortunately. we
Okay.
have to have it
All right,
there.
buckle in. Let me.
If you want a microphone, I have one as well. If you need to move.
That's all right. I'll just.
Yeah,
kind
if you want to paraphrase, that is perfect.
Okay. I'll do what I can.
If you can, yeah, if it makes sense.
Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the proposed signs serve to identify the business occupying the subject property and allow drivers from both directions on Laconia Road sufficient time to access the dedicated turn lanes to enter the property, promoting increased safety. Through their design and materials, the proposed signs reflect the quality and character of the Lake Estate and serve as the visual presence of this property from the public way. Relief from the front setback of 30 feet is sought in order to locate the signs where they will be visible from Laconia Road without the need for extreme height. Relief from the maximum permitted area is sought to allow for the provision of 2 signs in order to capture visibility from both directions on Laconia Road. If the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed because 2 proposed sign locations are intended to give drivers approaching the subject property from either direction reasonable visibility to allow them sufficient time to make use of the dedicated right and left turn lanes to enter the property. Allowing this promotes driver safety and helps further decrease the likelihood of accidents. Locating the signs within the 30-foot front setback permits the signs to be lower in scale, yet still visible. Allowing 2 signs, whose total area would exceed the permitted maximum of 40 square feet, allows the 2 opposing directions of travel on Laconia Road to be addressed with minimal impact, as against, say, a larger, taller sign that you could potentially see from all directions. The proposed signs are of a size and scale that is appropriate to their proposed locations, with their visual impact limited primarily to drivers approaching in their respective directions of travel. The use of high-quality design and materials promotes civic beauty and aims to improve property values. The proposed signs are limited to the name and logo of the Lake Estate, allowing the business to indicate its location to drivers without making any further intrusion on the visual aesthetics of the area. The design of the proposed signs is in keeping with the traditional character of the rest of the Lake Estate property, and the materials, forest green painted board and stone masonry, reflect the spirit of the lake's region environment. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because the proposed signage is of a location, scale, and quantity consistent with that of the subject property. It's in keeping with the location, scale, and quantity of signage provisions for other businesses and properties along Laconia Road within the Resort Commercial District and seeks to improve on the quality of finish and materials used. It also represents less signage square footage and fewer total signs than were present on the property's previous use, despite the increase in intended patrons, and the proposed locations are similar to the locations of 2 of the pre-existing signs. If the variance were granted, the values of the surrounding properties would not be diminished because the proposed sign locations are substantially within the subject property along the public way, as opposed to at the extreme edges of the property, and are proposed to be built with the same high quality of material and craftsmanship that characterizes the rest of the property, contributing to the character and value of the area and surrounding properties. Granting the variance to allow the signs to be set within the 30-foot front setback allows their size and height to be kept low, minimizing their visual impact on neighboring properties. Granting the variance to allow 2 signs, whose total area would exceed the permitted maximum of 40 square feet, allows the 2 opposing directions of travel on Laconia Road to be addressed with minimal visual impact on surrounding properties when compared to a single larger, taller sign that could be seen from all directions. Regarding unnecessary hardship, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because, point 1, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because the Lake Estate's 33-acre property is a unique parcel in Tilton's resort commercial zone, and its location along a significant curve in Laconia Road presents distinctly different visual approaches for drivers depending on direction of travel. Strict application of the zoning ordinance for signage would suggest a single sign made as tall as permissible in order to be visible from both directions of travel. But such a sign would be out of character with the rest of the property and negatively impactful to the surrounding area. It would also most likely need to be sited in the existing cemetery to catch both directions of travel, which we definitely don't want to do. The requested variance from the 30-foot front setback would allow the signs to be smaller and lower while still being visible from the road. The requested variance from the 40 square feet maximum signage area would allow 2 individual signs oriented to specifically address the different travel directions on Laconia Road, further reducing their overall visual impact on the surrounding area. Now, the proposed use is a reasonable one because the proposed use of the property is as a currently operating resort hotel, which is permitted within the resort commercial zone. The requested variance seeks sufficient aesthetically appropriate and reasonably visible signage to indicate the presence of the hotel on the property in a manner that is in keeping with the property's character and visually legible to drivers approaching the property in either direction, while seeking to minimize the impact of proposed signage from neighboring properties. Granting the proposed variance would both promote public safety and contribute to civic beauty. And lastly, explain how, if the criteria in subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if and only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and the variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. The sign location and size criteria for properties in the resort commercial zone, as stated in the zoning ordinance, are optimized for a reasonably level property with reasonably general visibility from both directions of travel on an adjacent public way. The unique characteristics of the Lake Estate property present significant challenges with providing appropriate visible signage under these criteria. The property is located along a significant curve in Laconia Road, such that drivers approaching the property from either direction of travel have very different sight lines before reaching the property entrance. Granting a variance in the maximum permitted sign area would allow the provision of 2 individual signs, each one positioned to optimize visibility from one direction of travel on Laconia Road, allowing drivers sufficient time to access either the dedicated turn lanes to enter the property. The topography of the property also changes significantly along the length of its frontage along Laconia Road. From the property entrance south toward Tilton, the property grade drops down and away from the road, while from the property entrance north toward Laconia, the property rises up from the road in a landscaped berm. Granting a variance in the 30-foot front setback would allow the signs to be located closer to the road, where they can be visible to drivers without the need to be exceptionally tall or large, which would be inconsistent with the character of the property and negatively impactful to the surrounding properties. Granting the requested variances would allow the 2 proposed signs to be located and sized to optimize the readability by drivers looking to access the property, promoting public safety, while minimizing their visual impact on the surrounding area, and through the design, craftsmanship, and materials, celebrate the spirit and character of New Hampshire's Lakes region.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Any questions for him?
I have a question. What are these signs being made out of?
They're going to be custom-built PVC board and trim, painted a forest green color to match the trim on the building.
Is it PVC?
Signs themselves will be PVC, and then the one that's closer to Tilton has a masonry base.
Okay, and the maintenance on these signs, do you have a plan on any type of maintenance on these signs? And the reason I say that is you see a lot of the signs, you can't read them, they've fallen down. Do you have any plan or any type of plans to keep them looking good?
Yeah, the property as is has a great maintenance team that maintains the buildings and the landscape, and the signs are just going to be another part of their that crew's daily work.
Okay.
And the signs are critical to the operation of the business to indicate its location to passing motorists, so they'll be maintained.
Okay, so the one big one with the stone base,
Yeah,
and that's, okay, so that one's gonna be 5 feet off the road, right? Is that what
5 feet off of the property line.
off the property line? Okay, now, if I remember correctly, the state requires 10.
Well, they have their setbacks.
Whatever, yeah.
Because when we approved that excavator rental place, they said the machines had to be 10 feet off of Route 3.
Yes. Yeah, they did.
Or is it 30 feet off the center line?
In my discussions with DOT and the sign makers discussions, we were given to understand that it was 33 feet from the center line of Laconia
3 feet
Road.
from okay.
And that as long as we were within the bounds of the property, they had no objection.
Oh.
I think previously it had been discussed locating it outside of the property within the right of way,
Yeah.
which they would need to opine on. But as long as it's within the property, they didn't have any objection,
Cool.
So these are 33 feet from the center line.
Yeah.
at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that one that shows wherever it is.
It said setback 5 feet,
Oh,
but
the
that's
30 feet
5
from
feet
center.
from the property line,
Yes.
not from the road.
Okay, so that's a 5-foot setback from the property line,
Yeah.
not a 5-foot setback from the road.
Correct.
Per se.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's,
From the property
Which
line.
the property line and the road might be.
Might be the same.
Right.
But it's a property line setback. Okay.
You sort of see it better in this image here. You've got the road, then you've got the gravel strip, and then there's some grass. We're
Yep.
5 feet off of that gravel strip, which is roughly where the property line is.
And it's 33 feet at least from the center line for DOT.
Correct.
Are you looking for setback relief on the second sign?
Yes, that would also be within the 30 feet.
That's within the 30-foot setback. Okay.
Yeah.
Pat, can we mute Pat online?
Oh,
It is. It's not as close to Laconia Road as the first sign, but it would still be within the 30-foot limit that's prescribed by the zoning ordinance.
Okay, wait, I'm confused now.
So
So
both
the-
signs are within 30-foot front
there's no-
setback.
Okay, so the setbacks
To
are
the
good.
your DOT setback and then the property line setback.
The state
So the
setback is
The
good.
state setback is good, but the town one is,
Correct.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the size is,
And size is larger than permitted.
And then the
correct?
signs could,
So
because
this-
the two signs combined
Right.
have 65 square feet.
okay, so we're doing two.
We have two variances lumped into one.
Okay,
Yes. Okay.
just making sure.
Because they want two signs, so the square footage is.
We have a
more.
square footage for sign size variance. and
Is
we have
that
a-
property total or is that per sign?
I believe it's
It's property total.
Property total, okay.
My understanding is correct. Right? Oh, sorry. The ordinance is for total signage.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get Pat because she's trying to talk, but we can't hear her.
Oh.
So sorry, what was the question again?
The ordinance is for total signage, not per sign.
It's total signage, right? Because they're only allotted one sign.
Got it. Only a lot, so then wouldn't that be another variance for a second sign?
I believe the ordinance only specifies sign square footage,
Got it, okay. Sorry for the confusion.
right? Maybe if I'm not giving bad
I
pointers. here.
believe that's correct.
Okay. Cool. I don't know, any questions?
I don't know if, I mean, I guess they applied as a single variance, so we can hear it as a single variance. Is that
That's how I understand it, yeah.
okay? As
That's
opposed to
how
hearing them as individual variances.
We just approve both
Right.
criteria
Like,
under
in theory,
one.
one criteria could be, one variance could potentially be approved and the
To
second
cover
one
multiple
denied,
issues.
but
Yeah,
because they're together, if one of them is denied, then both of them.
I suppose it would depend how it reads in the ordinance. Like if it was no, because, well, yeah,
They've applied as one variance request.
Yeah.
But if they don't meet the criteria for
one.
any of them, then
Don't
they
get it.
both don't pass.
right, got it. That makes sense.
I think I got my question answered. So you're not looking to put 4 signs up. This is just a
No,
reference
that was just
of
to
what they
refresh
have done.
everyone's memory with what was there.
Just making
And
sure I-
the one that's there now will come down eventually, the newer one that you guys made when you were developing it.
Yes, the cream colored one that's
Yeah.
there now, that will turn into sign 2.
Oh,
They're
okay.
gonna remove it, relocate it, repaint it, and finish it off.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Oh, this white one that exists
Yes.
will become sign 2.
Correct.
All right. And that one's not going to be illuminated.
That will not be eliminated.
Mhm.
And it will be located farther from the road than the first sign.
The lights that you say you're gonna have lights, they're gonna be shining down on the sign and not, okay.
Correct. Yeah. So this,
And you're gonna have some LED on it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this curved hood along the top
Okay,
here,
okay.
the LED will be tucked underneath there, so it will cast vertically downward on the face of the sign.
Nice.
They have a night view picture here.
Show it that way.
So it's gonna be more outlined with E LED.
That's what that is.
Looks like each sign is within the, I'll wait till after.
Yes, I'm not sure if I clarified that, but each sign by itself is under the 40 square foot maximum. It's only the two together that puts you at 65.
Any more questions for him?
Nope.
Good, Doug?
No, I'm good.
Any public input? All right. Hearing none, we will close public comment and begin deliberation.
All right.
I'd like to say that I think that on a safety aspect, it's a good idea. Instead of having one sign, say in the island of the one entrance going in, this is going to allow people on that corner to slow up before they need to turn instead of locking up, because we know that it is on a sharp corner there.
It's both ways. It's
Both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So having two signs might alleviate some accidents or whatever that could happen on that corner.
Yeah, I love the idea. I might be alone in this. But I have some major concerns with the stone being that close to the road. If-
Same thing.
If it were made, if it were like two wooden posts with a sign, I mean, a car could go through it. But I mean, a rock pile that big right next to the road, that's
It's like 5 feet off.
it's a little concerning to me. If somebody were to crash into it, that'd be a serious accident.
I agree with the sentiment. The only question I have is that, like, is that, can we like put that as an
Well, I
asterisk
think it would-
consideration?
We could make a contingent. Well, yeah.
I agree with your, with
I
your
think,
sentiment.
I think we could do two things. You could make it contingent upon making it out of either wood or composite, or you could put a note to planning.
To consider it,
But
if there's
then,
other, I just wonder if there are
then it
other
would-
signs that,
yeah, if we put a note to planning, it's a risk that they don't share the same concern. If we,
Matt, it's not going to planning.
it's not.
yeah, you just have to speak into the other thing, it might be stone facade, it might not actually be.
That's true. That's true.
Thank you. My name's Ed Rocco. I'm the owner-operator of the Lake Estate. I think it's worth mentioning that the sign with the stonework is a stone veneer. We are building a box with some plywood, if you will, and it's the exact same stone veneer we have in the hotel. The colors, the stonework, everything matches the hotel. We also selected the color green because we wanted to blend in with the landscape. We only wanted the gold lettering to be visible enough so people could see it. They can get into the deceleration lane quicker. And the same coming from Laconia towards Tilton, you get into that medium strip to take your left-hand turn. But that is not a solid field stone wall, if that makes a difference. It's a
Okay.
stone veneer.
That makes a
Yep.
difference. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have experience with crashing into veneer,
thin.
but
It's
but I
very
would.
It's like this thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's much better, right? Like
Yes.
a car would go through it.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it'll
Good.
crash right through
Good,
it.
good. I can just picture somebody turning into that lane and on snow and oof.
My big concern was that the state was gonna have a problem with snow removal and that sort of thing, but it's not in the, it's not in the state,
And
it's
also-
outside of the state setback, so it kind of.
It also makes some variances too. It passes the variances, the distance from the center of the street, the edge, from the edge back to the stonework. It passes,
You just gotta say,
it passes all the,
I have a quick question.
it passes all the state
Has the
requirements,
DOT
setbacks
seen your
also.
signage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pat,
we
could you
mute
just mute your computer or phone? We're just getting a ton
Yes.
of audible feed. Thank you.
What was your question? I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, I asked if these DOT had looked at these plans, seen the
And they had,
pictures.
yeah.
And we could put that in as a, a contingent that upon DOT approval as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I say upon DOT approval and upon specific materials, either composite, veneer, or wood.
Matt, I can answer that question if you'd like.
I think we got an answer.
Okay.
What's Pat doing out there?
She's at home. She wants to be here.
Yeah.
Sorry, just making a note here. I think that it is outside, obviously, of the total square footage variance, but both signs are within the intended maximum sign size.
Right.
That, if my thought is making sense. Both signs are the correct signs for the variance. It's just it's a double the amount because it's double the signs.
Right. Well, I think
my thought coming out
regardless,
contingent-
regardless, the bigger the sign, the more heads up it gives people. I think that's just better for traffic.
I guess I meant in the sense of it is meeting the variance in that, or meeting the intended ordinance. The sign isn't a huge sign that's 60 square feet. It's two sub 40 square foot signs.
Right.
Making a larger sign, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to go through all 5 criteria like we normally do? Or we kind of
Sure.
talked about it? Okay, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest.
No, I think it's better for the public to have more signage. It would help traffic,
Yes.
all that.
Agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a reasonable proposal that is taking care of the public to give
Yeah.
to meet
I
the
agree. I agree with that.
If the variance were granted, the spirit of the ordinance would be observed.
Yeah, well, if the property were split in two, which it could easily be, both of these signs would have been allowed to exist. It's just because it's such a big property.
Right.
Yep.
I agree with that. Granting the variance would do substantial justice.
Yeah, I think so.
I think in the safety aspect, it does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, both justice to the applicant and the community. I agree. If granting the variance, if the variance were granted, the values of surrounding properties would not be diminished. There's no demonstrable evidence for that.
No.
No.
5, unnecessary hardship. Part A, owing to a special condition of the property that distinguishes it from other in the areas, denial of the variance would result in an unnecessary hardship.
I think there is hardship. I don't know if I don't think it's in the application, but this property does have hardship. Obviously, it's giant property. It's just a strange, it's the only giant hotel right there. So I think there's obviously hardship.
I agree with it, with the curve, and the approach angles.
Yep.
Allowing for 2 separate sign locations.
I agree
Makes
with that.
sense.
I agree with it.
A ton of road frontage and a deceleration lane.
Yep.
So that was no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of it. And the proposed use is a reasonable one. Do we agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve ZBA 26-08 variance for signage.
Motion's been made to approve. Any seconds?
I
I apologize.
I wanted to add in, just to make sure that they comply with DOT setbacks, which I'm sure, they've got to.
Okay.
So I really don't know how that all works because that road got widened there. So do they take more instead of 33 feet? Is it now 39 feet? So I just want to make
Is
sure.
what they told us. So
Yeah. Okay.
Center. Yeah, the center is just not the yellow line anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
But they take it from the center of the road. They
Right.
start at
We
the
would-
center.
Well, it's the yellow line. I think they take it from, isn't it? Or
But I think
center?
now that it has the dedicated left turn lanes and right turn lanes, the whole road is wider, so the center line
All
is
right,
farther
we
over
don't
than
do
it
that
was
part.
before.
So it can be
I don't
close.
know that part.
Yeah.
We haven't.
Um,
So yeah.
sorry,
I'll second that. I'll
Well,
second the motion.
Well, contingent upon the building materials.
I
should
think,
Oh yeah. And
technically we should second, or we should approve or not approve Brian's motion and then
Oh,
make
okay.
amendments.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Technically, just to, so Brian made a motion to approve ZB 26-08 contingent on meeting DOT setbacks. Any second?
Second that motion.
Seconded by Sandy. And then any discussion?
I'd like to amend it to include the building materials. Let's say it must be made out of
Here.
wood, veneer, and everything except fieldstone. Can we just? Because there's a lot that's going to go
Or
into
boulders,
it.
Yeah, I was
or
gonna say, I feel
boulders.
like
I don't want to get into
boxing
screws and
ourselves.
stuff. Yeah.
So you
No
want a
boulders, no boulders. No.
Yeah.
non-field stone wall is what you're, is that
Base, I suppose.
non-field stone base?
Or fieldstone or any stone.
Any
For that
big-
matter.
Any big stone, earth stone.
Yeah, earth stone.
I'm just generally out of my depth here if we would be tying their hands if we called it earthstone, and technically it is some
Veneer
earthstone
is-
cut off. So I just,
Yeah.
A lot of it's cultured made.
I mean, a lot of it might be concrete, and but I just don't
That's
know if
all
they're
cultured.
using
That's
cut
all-
off
it's all
ends. I
man-made.
just,
Should we
It's
say
all man-made, yeah.
fieldstone?
I think you should be,
Yeah.
I think we should be specific if that's what we're
Okay.
Yep.
specifically trying to.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
steer
That's
it. I
fine,
just,
that's
May
fine.
I request a clarification?
yes.
So your intent is to avoid like a built masonry wall, but if we used veneer fieldstone, that's an inch
Yeah, that's
thick or
right.
so. I mean, it's stone, but it's been cut down to
Right,
thin.
veneer.
That would be okay.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to be cautious of not
Right.
unintentionally boxing it in. The intent is to not use field boulders
Right.
to build the wall.
Okay, we could say it cannot be made of stone that is not veneer.
That sounds.
Professional term for the veneer stone that we use.
No, why can't you just say?
Just veneer
it'd be
stone is
made
what we.
Of a
with
stone veneer.
stone-
I
yeah,
think that
stone
yeah.
we make
veneer.
it with
Yeah.
a stone veneer.
Stone
That
veneer.
Yeah.
covers you.
Stone veneer?
Stone veneer,
Yeah, stone veneer.
yes.
Okay, Steve has an amendment to add a contingent that the sign base be made of a stone veneer.
Yep.
Any second on that amendment?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Doug. Any further discussion on the amendment part? Okay, those in favor of adding a contingency for a stone veneer base, say aye.
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 So we are now moving to the amended ZBA 26-08, which is an approval contingent on meeting DOT setbacks and a stone veneer base. Any seconds for that?
I'll second
Oh,
it.
Seconded by Sandy. And any other discussion?
No.
Okay. Those in favor of approving ZBA 26-08 with a contingency on meeting DOT setbacks and a stone veneer base, vote aye.
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 Aye. And any nays? Ayes have it and it passes. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
And then we have two sets of meetings.
Okay,
I was gonna
we
say, please don't forget about the.
Yeah.
we pushed January back for some reason.
I think it was 'cause it was
Length.
huge and none of us had a chance to
Right.
read through it.
Because I read it and I could not figure out why we pushed it back.
Just because of length.
None of
and
us had.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
We didn't have time to read it before.
So yeah, it was all good from
Yep.
what I saw.
And we were probably kind of tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a long one?
I think it was a long one, yeah.
It was a long
Yes,
one.
it
Yeah.
was.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 20th,
Any second-
2026.
Any seconds?
I'll second it.
All right, motion made and seconded to approve January 20th, 2026 meeting minutes. Any discussion? Those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
That January 20 of 2026 accepted. Well, that is a tongue tie.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve Tuesday, February 17th minutes.
Any seconds?
Second,
Seconded by Sandy. Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor of approving the minutes from February 17th of 2026, vote aye.
Aye.
And it passes. Any other business?
Any more meetings out there?
Any
I
motion
had-
to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Sandy, seconded by Brian. Those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
We have adjourned our meeting at 6:43. We'll just have to stop the recording. That's a pretty quick one.
Yes, it was.